Courts around the world adapted a new world of online courts and remote hearings, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. In many jurisdictions, justice processes are slowly moving back into physical courtrooms. However, it's likely that virtual technologies will continue to be a central element of courts of the future. In the current configuration, all participants are remote in that they're in a shared virtual space. The courtroom no longer has material form. Courts have been long viewed as civic spaces where principles of democracy, the rule of law, and state power are communicated through the built environment, procedures, and customs. As courts have evolved online, we're forced to think deeply about how this will be communicated in a virtual space. This project gives an opportunity to further reflect on how we reimagine courts of the future. This is us, Diploma to People, gathering in a virtual reality social platform via chat. As we occupy virtual bodies, we can reside in virtual communities and interact with others along with reinforced presence. Blending of the physical and digital worlds together with the significant advances in communication technology tools enables anything that occurs in a real community to occur in a virtual one, including newer and wider forms of social ills and harms. In order to keep these virtual spaces safe and minimize any social harms, platforms have deployed a varying level of their own moderation against inward violence. However, platform-level regulation cannot be a sufficient solution to address the deep-rooted issues about criminal activities in virtual realm. It questions on the application of standard law system of each country to crimes committed in a digital world where geographical and social boundaries are blurred, calling for civic structures within a regional regulatory framework to be applied to fundamentally different environment from reality. In this respect, courts of the future in this project will be assumed to mainly deal with criminal activities committed within the virtual world. Virtual courts will be accessible with VR devices not only by visiting public facilities such as courthouse or court library within respective administrative districts, also by borrowing the devices and using in their personal spaces. The accessibility allows governments to manage both the hardware and software so that all the collected database can be securely archived. A virtual court consisted of an identifying space, a lobby, courtroom space, and an archive. On connecting to virtual courts, all the participants will be represented as self-customized avatars under self-sovereign identity, which means people in virtual courts hold their autonomy to their digital identities. As we care for our digital accounts, that panoply of interactions, experiences, and assets are built up. This creation of virtual identity is pivotal to give accountability to the gathering and to facilitate users' safe participation and secure experience. Digital representation with self-sovereign identity works in two ways in virtual courts. One is users will hold their own verifiable credential, biometric profiles, to prove their identity and to access virtual courts. In an identifying space, users will be expected to interact with a VR system to perform activities, so that their movements can be recorded and used to measure biometric confidence. As biometric data will be securely stored via the centralized system, virtual courts will benefit from a non-intrusive identification system. Another is their virtual identities will not be legally binding to the physical identities. Virtual courts will not mirror existing legal structure, power relations, human rights, and legal obligation. In this respect, digital identity will be distinguishable from physical identity, and what digital existence does in virtual realm will solely be judged in accordance to the rules that virtual courts establish. Once their identities are authenticated, users will teleport to a lobby, facilitating a number of virtual rooms required to prepare virtual trials. These include offices, waiting rooms, jury deliberation room, and portals linking to courtrooms and an archive. The most important gathering happening in this space is creating reenactment. Virtual courts have unique possibilities in a way that immersive reenactment will be introduced as a new medium for evidences and testimonies. Unlike second-hand experience from conventional media such as photo, video, verbal statement, or written documents, direct exposure to a simulated environment will be a powerful medium to understand a parade of events that a trial will explore. In order to create immediate truth as impartial as it can, all the relative parties will gather together in one of the offices located in a lobby to clarify their perspective on the incident and adjust immersive reenactments until everyone agrees the materials to be utilized for trial. Courtroom space restricts access to authorized users because all the contents happening in this space cannot be shared or discussed externally, like as courtroom sketches are drawn to prevent distraction and preserve privacy for trial proceedings. Some of the physical features of courtrooms such as space proportion, material, and architectural objects will be kept in virtual courtrooms so as to deliver a sense of formality and judgment. However, spatial arrangement of physical courtrooms representing the legal hierarchy and adversarial environment will be refused and be transformed into circular layout which encourages everyone's involvement. Plus, furniture that has no physiological function in virtual realms will not be removed but will be replaced by chairs that people can sit in a comfortable position. So it plays a role in conveying attention and comfort. Multiple courtrooms will be located at the very center, surrounded by thousands of cube modules, each of which contains a number of immersive reenactments. Each cube has 3 sets of parallel faces, and each set gives information about its contents. Faces on Z-axis represent platforms where crimes occur. Faces on X-axis indicate devices they can use and level of immersion they experience, and faces on Y-axis illustrate dates of crime. As one module carries multiple reenactments that take place in the same month, different dates will be constantly lit up and corresponding simulation will be played. How are the modules organized? Modules with older platforms and devices will be closer to the center, accumulating vertically and expanding outward over time. With a few exceptions, all the platforms will be outdated from continuously developing new platforms, and all the devices will be driven out by more affordable, lighter, and stable devices. This movement will leave an empty space in the middle. Each courtroom having one translucent wall and facing different directions allows users to have an overview of all the modules and their contents reenactments. Whenever evidences and testimonies are required, courtroom will move around the rail supporting all the modules, dock in corresponding module, and let people walk into reenactments. Once you're inside the modules, other parts of the space cannot be seen because module screens are made of a single-sided material, which intensifies your presence within simulated environment as if it's happening to you beyond observing it. After verdicts, reenactment examiner trials will be taken to an archive and stored in the new modules from the ones in courtroom space. Apart from platform, device, and data parameters, modules in archive will have 2 additional information about the reenactments they contain: types of crime and types of punishment. Shape of the module frame indicates types of crime, and color of the frame represents sort of punishment. Organization of archive modules will be identical to that of courtroom modules, but at the center, not courtrooms, but multiple cells will be located. Since archives are open to all of the users, cells are available to everyone from the general public to judicial officers. They're welcome to ride in the cells, navigate, and explore stored reenactments in this space. The unique possibilities of virtual courts, that different ruling to each case set a precedent for future cases, and users can have an overview of all the collected data, will challenge the law enacted over the years and to establish new regulatory frameworks for virtual realms, as Ruth Bader Ginsburg seeks each precedent to pave the way for equal legal rights. Beyond an institution adjudicating legal disputes, courts of the future will be gathering spaces that everyone can participate in formulating arguments and achieving justice.